Hello everyone, I'm Nitsa. Welcome back to Kaladesh Limited Review Week on my channel. Every time a new set comes out, I post a limited review video every day from the day it is spoiled until the pre-release. In these videos, I talk about my initial impressions of the format. Today, I continue my limited review with the picks for the best colorless commons and uncommons. The last few days I've covered all 5 colors, and this video will conclude my discussion of the best commons and uncommons. Tomorrow, though, will come the video that is usually the most popular of my limited review videos, my archetype guide. For now, though, let's look at the best colorless uncommons. The third best uncommon colorless card is Snare Thopter. For 4 mana, a 3-2 with flying and haste is a pretty good deal. I'd be willing to play it almost always. Sometimes a 4 mana 3-2 without even haste and just flying is worth playing. Remember Cloud Manta, for example. But I'm especially willing to pay colorless mana for a 3-2. It means it's easy to cast with really good stats. And it's in a format that cares about artifacts too, so it's a card you're happy to have. At number 2, I have Oval Chase Dragster. I will admit to you now that evaluating vehicles without having actually played with them yet is pretty difficult because it's not exactly something we've ever seen before. That said, I feel pretty confident that Oval Chase Dragster is the best uncommon vehicle. If we compare it to Impetuous Devils, a very playable rare from Eldritch Moon, it comes back pretty favorably. Both are 4 mana 6/1s with Trample and Haste. The Devils can make something block them, so they always at least trade for a card and do some damage to the opponent, while the Dragster doesn't have that requirement. It does have a super easy crew cost, though, with even a servo being able to pilot the thing, and it presents your opponent with a difficult decision. They either take 6 to the face, which may be their only choice since the thing has haste, or they end up trading a card while still taking a bunch of damage. The Dragster does suffer a little bit from the presence of servo tokens, but even then that can be a pretty good exchange for you. The best artifact uncommon is Filigree Familiar, who is just filled with value. For 3 mana, you get a reasonable 2/2 body and 2 life, and the card on top of that is basically a walking 2-for-1. Your opponent doesn't want to use removal on it because you get to draw a card and they 2-for-1 themselves. And your opponent can't attack into it with X2s because of the same problem. On top of that, it's an artifact in a set that cares about artifacts, so you can't really go wrong with Filigree Familiar. I can even see potentially making it your first pick in some packs. So in terms of the best commons, I think the third best colorless common is Self-Assembler. This guy is obviously pretty bad until you have at least 2 of them, but once you have at least 2 of them, he's actually pretty solid. He can search himself up until you run out of assembly workers. So he's basically a 5 mana 4/4 that draws you a card. It's probably dangerous to run more than 3 of him because of the mana cost, but there are way worse things you can do than chain 3 of these guys together, especially if your deck wants artifacts for other reasons. And number 2, I have Inventor's Goggles. This is actually pretty nice equipment, even without any Artificer synergies. 1 to play and 2 to equip when the bonus is +1/+2 is about what you expect to pay. Plus, it's in an artifact set, so you want to play it most of the time anyway. But given that the set has tons of artificers, it gets even better because you can frequently equip it for free. While I'm recording this, Kaladesh isn't on Gatherer yet, so I did my counting of artificers the old-fashioned way, so I may have missed a few. But just to illustrate the point that there are plenty of artificers for this card to be good, I will let you know how many artificers there are in each color. White has 6 of them, 4 are common or uncommon. Blue has 5, where 4 are common or uncommon, and it actually has 1 other card with an artificer payoff. Black has 4, 3 are common or uncommon. Red has 4, 3 are common or uncommon. And kind of surprisingly, given usually green's attitude towards artifacts, green actually has 7 and 5 are common or uncommon. So green may be the best suited for it because it has way more common or uncommon artificers. But most decks are going to have 3 or 4 artificers in them, no matter what color you are. And once you have 3 or 4 artificers, Inventor's Goggles gets to be pretty solid. I think the best artifact common is Renegade Freighter. This thing is really strong. It is a 5/4 with trample when it attacks, and it only needs 2 power to crew it. It is going to be a pretty good beater for most decks in the format. I have to say that I wouldn't first pick any of these cards, but I can see taking the Freighter or the Goggles around pick 6 or 7, and Self-Assembler is the kind of late pick you can pick up and feel pretty good about it because maybe you'll pick up another one and suddenly have a good card when it on its own isn't a very good card. Well, that does it with today's limited review video. I will be back tomorrow with the archetype guide. Also, if you haven't yet, enter my Kaladesh giveaway. There should be an annotation leading you there on the screen now. Also, if you found the video useful, don't forget to click the like button. If you disagree with some of my picks, let me know in the comments. And if you want to make sure you catch the rest of my Kaladesh limited review, as well as all future limited reviews of future sets, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.